name's Stephen Crisp. I'm a cloud solution architect at Microsoft within the manufacturing industry. Within Microsoft, I look after a set of solutions that are specifically designed to help manufacturers on their digital transformation journey. I've been working for the last 10 years with manufacturers on trying to use and adopt technology so that they can streamline their operations and create new revenue channels. One of the big changes that I've seen within manufacturing is going from very heavy core internal systems where they've had business applications and trying to streamline processes within factories to now actually taking some of that data and trying to start doing things with it, trying to start monetize it. What will always keep UK manufacturers ahead of the game is their ability to innovate, and digital transformation allows UK manufacturers to either create new revenue streams through servitization or create new and enhanced products that can drive better profitability by being able to take data, analyze it, and create improved products which have better uptimes for their customers and therefore outperform the competitions. The number one piece of advice that I would give to UK manufacturers who are looking to start their journey into digital transformation is really focus on the business outcomes that they're trying to achieve from the start. Are you going to monetize this data by either optimizing your operations, so how you might go and provide field service on some of those goods, or are you going to actually use this data to provide a better service to your customers, a premium service, and therefore increase revenue within your organization? And we'll quite often talk to customers about how they can work out what that potential return is and then potentially re-kickstart that project that might have stalled. We often talk about digital transformation fitting into four primary pillars. So the very first one is empowering your employees, which is all about basically how a manufacturer could provide modern tools to their employees so that they could collaborate quicker, work while they're mobile. The second stage that we often talk about is engaging your customers. So in a modern world where manufacturers could potentially connect up devices, how can they use the data that they're getting from that to actually provide a better service back to their customers, a more immediate service back to their customers? The next thing we talk about is optimizing your operations, which is typically, how can I make sure that the factory never goes down? How can I make sure that I'm running as near as I can to 100% utilization? That I'm really sweating the physical assets that I've got. And transform your products is where a manufacturer could introduce a whole host of things like potentially charging for goods by the hour or by the turn. They always fall into three primary categories. So we have a business validation, which is largely about proving the ROI, and sometimes this can be quite difficult to prove because it's new, it's a new world. So there might not be a framework that the manufacturer is typically seen to prove the business case. The second area is a technical validation piece, which is will the technology actually work with the assets that the manufacturer might already have in place? What needs to be changed to make sure that the technology can work? And then the final one is the security piece. So as stuff starts to go digital, how can we make sure that it's all properly secure and we don't have any incidents? So we primarily see it working in business validation, technical validation, and security validation. Digital transformation should work with all of the equipment that is currently within a factory, right? So if you have a machine, what we would typically talk to a customer about is going to be a significant investment for them to repurpose machines within the factory. So what we'd often talk to them about is how can we connect that up? Quite often when we go and see a manufacturer and they might already have a lot of assets in place, a lot of machinery which is on the shop floor. So what we'll do is we'll actually make sure that we can talk to existing machinery that's there. So we've got various protocols that we can use to make sure that we can do that. So rather than having to rip and replace stuff that's already in play, manufacturers can use the assets they've already got to digitally transform. So some of the most common requests that we get from manufacturers are around how can I connect the devices that I own so I can make them more intelligent and get data off them, with one of the primary functions and reasons why they're looking to get that data is how can I make sure that the maintenance and uptime of them is maintained. So if it's an asset which a customer owns, how can I make sure that I don't impact the customer's uptime? And if it's an asset that's within my factory, how can I make sure that I keep that running at an optimal rate?